Hey, Rainbow here, and welcome to the channel. We're gonna have a review today of the Triumph right here. Check it out, Tiger 850 Sport. I think all the 850s are sports. Anyway, this is a 23 model, and let's take a peek at it, okay? Let's do it. Well, there it is in all its beauty, the 2023 Tiger Triumph 850 Sport. You hear that? It's the Sport. This bike can be yours in the United States for the low price of $12,290. This is basically the stripped down version of the Tiger 900, okay? It's the same engine. It's an 888 engine. It's the same thing. It's kind of just a stripped down version, a little bit of a lower entry price, but so far with the time I've spent on it, I'm pretty happy with it. So let's go over some specs. So Triumph says that this is like a road focused bike, and this is a beautiful blue. It comes in 4 different colors, and it's a sport, but it does have the 19-inch front wheel and a 17 in the back. We'll go over that. It does have the sporty triple engine with a T-plane crank, 888 cc's. Basically, like I said, same as the Tiger 900. This will pump out 84 bhp at 8,500 RPM, and it'll do a very respectable 60 pound-feet of torque when you crank this little puppy up to 6,500 RPM. When you want to talk about the clutch on this one, no problem. It is a wet multi-plate clutch that is a slipper. And as you can see, it has a tubular steel frame with a bolt-on subframe. There's the bolt right there, and an aluminum 2-sided swing arm. Now on the front, it has 100/90-19-inch front. These come with some Michelins, very much set for the adventure rider. On the back of this chain-driven motorcycle, you're going to find a 150/70-17. I think that's the exact same size that I have on the back of my KTM RC 390, so it's a little on the smaller side. But as you can see, the pattern that comes with it, it is adventure. It has on it some beautiful Marzocchi front forks, 45mm. As far as adjustment, the answer is none. No adjustments on these. Everything will have to be done by changing springs. And then there's the monoshock by Marzocchi, also hidden deep down inside, and that does have a manual adjust preload as expected. Really nothing else on that. Well, now apparently they've spared no expense on the front brakes. Dual Brembos with 320mm discs. And as the wind kicks up, you could see we also have a beautiful Brembo single on the back, and that is the typical 250mm disc. So brakes aplenty. Now, one other thing about the brakes on this bike: front and rear ABS. Now it's got a beautiful little TFT screen there. It's about 5 inches. We'll see it more when we're riding this thing. Of course, beautiful front windscreen, nice mirrors. But let's get into the more important things. The seat height, 32.28, basically 32¼ inches, up to a little about 33 inches. And that's about 820 to 840 millimeters. I will discuss that and let you know how it feels. The dry weight on this bike, 423 pounds. That's how heavy it is, 423 pounds, and that's about 192 kilograms. That's the dry weight. I would say with this bike, add about another 65 pounds, close to 28, 30 kilograms on to that other number. So I think honestly it's probably closer to a 250 kilogram bike. Now this gorgeous gas tank here will hold 5.28 US gallons, about 20 liters, and I understand it gets pretty good gas mileage. Who cares? Now this is ride-by-wire throttle control. It does have switchable traction control, so that you're aware, all right, real important, and 2 riding modes. Guess what the riding modes are? Basically road and rain. Again, this is a stripped down version. You have road and you have rain. Let's take it for a spin. All right, let's talk about seating position. It's actually quite comfortable, and you can slide back and forth on this seat a decent amount, so it feels pretty good. Now, I have a 32-inch inseam, and with that 32-inch inseam, I am very comfortable with this bike right now. Very comfortable with a 32-inch inseam. I can easily flat foot and have a little bit, just a little bit, of bend in my knee. I am not stretching whatsoever to be comfortable on this bike. All right, feels good in the corners. No complaints there. Kind of digging it. As far as nimbleness, not too shabby for nimbleness. Gotta tell you that, not too shabby at all. Let's see where this guy is going. Let's take one more lap around here and see how things feel. Brakes into the corner, downshift. Now this does not have a quick shifter. All right. Doesn't have a quick shifter at all. So it's all manual shifting. Ooh, feel that. It's got a slipper clutch, but you heard a little chirp there on the downshift. All right, I like it. This is a good, fun bike. And that's one of the more common things you hear me say about bikes, is that they're fun. And this one is really easy to ride. You know, I do love the Triumph Tiger 660. It's a lower entry bike. I think it's a great beginner bike. It's a smaller bike, doesn't weigh as much, doesn't have as much power, but it still has that beautiful triple. So I do like that bike. Let's see what we got going on here. And we'll talk about acceleration once we get up and running. If things sound a little different with this bike, it's because for the first time I am actually using the Insta360 X3 for not just video but audio. The Insta360 for me has always been a secondary camera, never use it for audio, but I am trying it out with the audio in mind here to see how it works out in the helmet with a Rode microphone. So hopefully I will not be disappointed. Again, very comfortable seating position here. Extremely comfortable seating position. I love where the handlebars are. I love the position. I love the fact that I can slide back and forth on this seat. It's got a decent amount of wind protection. You know, I'm not sure that any of the Triumphs really have good wind protection on them. Maybe when you get up into the 1200s with a bigger screen. But it also is a little bit windier out today, so that could be affecting what I'm feeling. Nimbleness again, yes, very nimble. Very nimble for that 19-inch front wheel. Feels very comfortable. All right, let's do some emergency braking to see how the ABS kicks in. Okay, I like that. I mean, I really like that a lot, because the ABS was not super aggressive. I felt a little bit of sliding. I heard a little chirping, and I'm rather impressed with that. Now, I never, ever, ever catch this light, and I don't think I'm going to be at the front of the line to check. Yep, it looks like I will. So I'm going to check. Let's do another emergency braking. Ooh, yeah, that is not very aggressive ABS, so I was rather impressed with that. And then what we'll do is, when this light turns green, we'll check out some acceleration, take it on the highway, and finish what we normally do here.
I'm really curious about this audio. I'm really hoping this audio works out, because this is the first time that I'm doing this. Oh, smell that new engine burning smell. The paint's coming off. Beautiful. All right, let's check this out. Oh yeah, it's got some good acceleration. I have no complaints on that at all. Feels very comfortable, like I keep saying. Very stable bike. I do like the stability of this bike. Like I said, the nimbleness of this bike. It really seems like you can just toss it around quite easily. Now this bike does have 6 gears, and I will tell you that about 90 miles an hour here, the wind protection is pretty good on my head and the center portion of my body. That's about it. I'm pretty confident. I didn't want to come onto the on-ramp at 100 miles an hour, so I cut it back a little bit. And I doubt I'm going to hit 100 with this traffic. This is what we call the snowbird season. The population here in South Florida basically doubles. It doubles plus. Yeah, people on vacation, people who come down here to live from just a lot of Canadians. So hey, welcome Canada. A lot from the Northeast and Michigan and all over the place. They come down here for the warm weather, hence snowbirds. Yeah, pretty good move there, Lady Jane. Beautiful. So I'm in 6th gear. Gonna start winding this down here. Start downshifting carefully around the corner. And yeah, the bike felt very stable on the highway and was very comfortable at the higher speeds of like 90 miles per hour. So I felt as though that was impressive. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It is a 900. It is essentially a 500-pound bike. And it should have some level of stability on the highway. The acceleration was good. The body position is good. The bike feels good. The engine has a good amount of torque where you need it. I'm going to use the word linear with this, which is I think how most bikes are set up these days, with a very linear power deliveries. So I am extremely happy with this bike so far. I kind of like it. And the fact that it costs less than half of a Ducati Multistrada Pikes Peak says a lot. And in some instances, a third. And it accomplishes the same thing. Gets you from point A to point B. Just doesn't have that, you know, Ducati power, but it doesn't really need that Ducati power. All right, another little brake test here. Yeah, a little chirp. Not bad. So I don't have any issues with heat buildup, which is what a lot of people ask about. So far, zero heat buildup on this at all. I don't have like hot spots like I have on many other bikes. And this is now 3-4 times that I sat at a light just with the bike, you know, heating up and nowhere for me to go. Now, as far as the throttle, it sounds like it just sounds like I have to rev it up a little bit to get going. Maybe I'm just not accustomed to it. So the throttle, I don't think doesn't have that smoothness to it that I like and that I'm accustomed to on the Ducati Multistrada, also throttle by wire. So it feels pretty good, but there's a little delay in the beginning, but maybe you'll just get used to that and you'll know where to put it. And that again could be just me, and it could just be my motor memory, you know, my muscle memory. how windy it is. I don't know how the sound is, but it is a very windy day, and going south, heading south is obviously going into the wind, because you can certainly feel it. Yep. It just keeps chirping up for that slipper clutch. It does give a lot of chirps on the downshift, but I got to feel with this bike. I got to see how it feels. All right, let's hopefully get up to about 50 miles an hour here in order to cross the railroad tracks. I'm not convinced that's going to happen. We'll get close because of this little bit of a mess in front of me here. But 50 is usually my target speed. I don't think that's going to happen today. We're going to be about 10 miles an hour under that, but it still felt really good. I'll get it going back when these jokers are out of my way here. If you, either you're passing or you're not passing. So if you're in this lane, turn left or pass this guy. Don't just stay in the lane. Drives me nuts. All right, I'm not going down to the light either this time. Woo! Well, woo, lots of chirping going on here. All right, let's take the railroad tracks at 50 miles an hour here. See how that feels. Third gear, 54, 53, 51. That's my target, around 50. Yeah, feels pretty good. I mean, I've been on other bikes that are way smoother, but you know, you can adjust the preload on this bike right out of the factory with no adjustment for me. I think it feels pretty good. I'm sure that there's enough travel in the suspension, especially on an adventure bike, to easily compensate upon adjustment for anything that you have as far as preload on the rear. That's about it. All right, so let's talk about who this bike is for. Who is gonna buy this bike? Well, I think your average commuter who wants to keep costs down. It's a great bike. Is it a beginner bike? Well, it depends what your definition of beginner is. If you have a lot of experience in, you know, when you were younger, it's a bit of a taller bike. If you're short and this is your first bike, I think you're going to have problems with this bike. Okay? But it seems to be tame enough that you're not really going to get yourself in a lot of trouble with this bike. So I will say that if you're allowed in your country, if you're allowed with your age, that this bike could definitely be a beginner bike if you're tall enough and are comfortable having a bit of a higher center of gravity. The bike is smooth. It's not the typical Triumph smooth that I like, that I would probably feel on a you know, like the Tiger 660 with that nice triple. This one feels good, but it just seems a little rougher around the edges, and that could be the fueling, it could be the way they have it set up for this lower cost bike. Again, they call it the 850. It's got the same engine as the 900. It's just essentially a stripped down version of it. Look at that. See that? Plenty of power to get around whenever you need it. All right? So it's pretty good. Now, as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I can't tell you guys how important that is, because that helps position me in a way that makes things a little bit easier for me to be able to create more videos, create more content. It gives me more incentive. You know, there's nothing worse than doing a video or spending time on it and it gets very little views. So when you like and subscribe and you see what's coming out, I'd appreciate it. And as always, Ian at Two Wheels World, Ducati Forza, in this case it's Triumph. This is Two Wheels World Triumph Motorcycles here in Pompano Beach, Florida, just north of Fort Lauderdale. Just north of Fort Lauderdale. There's my beautiful Pikes Peak over there. There she is. Oh, what a beauty that Pikes Peak is. Anyway, so yeah. So this is Rainbow. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you, Ian. You got to come here, Triumph Motorcycles, right? And have yourself a great day, guys. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.